Yeah, everything's alright. What about you?
Right. Yeah, I'm good, man. How's everything?
Yeah, everything's alright. Everything's alright. Been busy with coaching, but yeah, it's okay. I actually messaged you. I thought you would send a message, but I saw you in the channel, so I jumped in right away.
No, you're good, man. I figured you were probably doing something, It's no
That's
worries.
okay. Just
You
send me a
good.
message if you join or like before that you're ready and should be good. I will see that. I just get notification.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. I thought you were gonna take a little longer, so I kind of like you queued up into a game.
That's okay. Everything's alright. But yeah, let me know how is everything in the game. What you been working on, and what you been able
Uh,
to apply.
I started working on what we talked about last time, like that whole like really like kind of going deep on the game, and and it like it worked, and then like I noticed that I wasn't getting like punished for like anything for the most part.
Oh.
um,
Yeah. So like, maybe uh, apologies. I just kind of like queued up.
Oh,
Um.
you jumped in the game
So
right away. Okay.
so like I was doing what we were talking about, and then like the only thing I'm kind of having trouble with is like recontesting like the space when I give it up. Like I'm not really too sure like how to engage in the recontest because sometimes it's like 2-3, and I'm like, maybe should I just like leave it all alone altogether? So like let's say for example like this is like everybody's fighting here, like I'll end up like I'll be like here, and then like nobody will do anything about it, and then like I'll keep like going, and like people kind of forget about me for the majority of the time, and they'll just kind of let me do my thing like really without much going on, which I thought was kind of strange because I would expect to get punished a little bit more for it.
Yeah, you will get punished. You just need to prepare the resources later on, because the higher you go, the more people pay attention to it. Yeah, I'll be curious to also watch some of the VODs. We've been trying your best to implement that, but well, I guess since I started playing, let's just see how you do those ideas so far. Just going on the angle, making sure you maintain it. Be careful, obviously, with the resources, but yeah, I want you to just respawn when the enemies make the action. Yes, just like that, yeah. We can also use the healing station and strafe. You just a little bit more strafe left and right if you under more pressure and you're okay. I think it would be alright, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's alright, that's alright.
So yeah, that should have been one there. So like I'll like be doing like these kind of like routes right here, right? And then like I'll take this angle, and then like I was thinking about what you said about like the whole like the map dynamic kind of changing
Yes.
because I'm not looking at that I'm not looking at the map like this anymore. I'm looking at it like this now, right?
This is much better, right?
Yeah. It seems like a completely different game if that makes sense.
Of course it is.
Like it seems like I'm playing like a different game now. Like it seems like I see like this, like right, like they're like engaged here, and then like everybody starts to come this way. And for the majority of the part, I'll like just like end up like transferring like to here and making like this part of the map mine.
Yeah, you can also
So
take a
like
different lane if they completely just take the left angle, but suggest I suggest as much as possible try to obviously fight for the lane you got. Yes. It's just a matter of resources. For example, here you don't have your E, so be careful when you challenge this cast. I don't want you... Yeah, exactly. You don't want to challenge him
yeah,
now, right? Because you don't have your E, and the range is also in favor of his. So you gotta be careful.
okay. So that's what like I noticed like with this guy, like I soldier, I like playing soldier, but then like sometimes like when like I
Yes.
think that's like a perfect example. Like this cast just has like a like can hold that position a little bit better than I can.
Yes, it's because the short range, yeah. So think, what is the long range sightline you will be able to take all of the time? So you're not always in enclosed spaces just like this here. Yeah, maybe you can have a longer sightline on the right side. You can try that out later. You have your ultimate as well, but yeah, this is also seems okay for now.
Okay.
It's just as long as they don't get close, you're okay of that sideline. It feels nice kill. Nice, good job. So maybe try out differently. Try out the right side later once you finish that Moira. See how that
Okay.
works. I want you to just go all the way right, take the stairs, for example. Try that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So you gotta be taking that high ground, and maybe you can start with ultimate. See how that feels. There's more long range distance from here, so maybe it will feel different as well. I usually suggest, yeah, the long sidelines are gonna be more important for you. Obviously, we're not playing like too far back or anything, but we're just trying to get to the flanky-ish and long distance. Okay, I want you to find a moment to use the ultimate, right? Because there is the tempo is in their favor. That's okay. Just a little bit late, but it's okay. You still get the percentage. That what matters. Try to survive, run away. That's fine. You probably get killed, but that's okay. But see, this is what I mean. You can be dynamic, but your dynamics change depending on where they go and what the map allows you to do. Generally speaking, you need to have the long distance sightline, I think. And obviously, the angles, the flanky angles are gonna be important.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I see.
It's just kind of your flow typically on this one. Sometimes you might notice that, well, I cannot take any of the left or right. Maybe you can start on main first, but later on you should usually choose the side where they go.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, here probably Yamauga can touch, yes. Okay, try to open up. Okay, this guy knows. And by the way, we saw him before. Yeah, we saw him before. So see, this way your dynamic could change. If you know this guy's here, where I could go, so it's in my favor. Right, maybe go left side. But that's okay, that's okay. Okay, so far what I see is you need the two biggest things in my opinion. Well, obviously keep the long sightline, that's one. But another is small one movement. How do we move when we're under pressure? And another thing is watching for threats. I want you to, when you take the sightline, just keep it long, but try to anticipate the threats where they will be, so you can react accordingly. You can position accordingly later. Can we try this out?
Yes.
Yeah, also this map, I just want to say, maybe you can roll out on Soldier, but the sidelines here are pretty short, no matter where you go.
Okay.
So you might just also go another character. It seems that, yes, Cassidy might better, because you have him in your pool. Something what could be more suitable. You do take the angles too, but make sure it's a more shorter range now.
Okay.
Yeah. That's perfect. If they make a move on you, then you can always do that flash. You can also roll. But so far, I think this sideline, it's alright. Is here the Cassidy? He's right on us, right here. That's alright though. Even though you die there. It's a little bit awkward sometimes when you have to rotate a little bit too far with the cast. You don't have as much movement. So try to rotate typically where you will have line of sight on your team later on. It should be okay.
Okay.
You just don't have as much self-sustain like on Soldier. You cannot go in too far, but that's okay. You take an angle, just later on, make sure you rotate towards your sideline. So see, instead of going all the way left, you can go towards this, where you are now. Yeah, maybe. And you can just go around the point, but it's softer angle. Yeah, I'm not that deep, because you playing closer range character. You still do take angles, kind of watch where the fight is. Okay. If you have an advantage, you can kind of move. Usually, yes, you can just keep pushing. But later on, you prepare your sideline. That's okay. We should be alright. Do you have more on your backline, or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think she got out.
Think about the angle. Yes, left side. Yeah, see, they're gonna be exactly taking that, but be careful when you rotate later. So rotate like left side down the street. Okay. That's alright. This might be... Not sure you can turn it around, but maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
You can. Okay. Yeah, Torb's doing quite a lot of work there,
Yeah,
too.
I've done a lot. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So do you see what I'm saying? Just with the cast, it's a little bit different. You cannot flank as much like on Soldier, but you can. Well, let's put it this way: you can, but your sidelines has to be shorter. Where if you go left side all the way, that's too long sideline. It will be more Soldier sideline. You just gonna keep that shorter, softer angles while rotating. Yeah, left side, right side doesn't matter. Well, here Soldier is more suitable because a longer range if you want to run Soldier. But now your angles are long. Make sure you maintain long sideline. What are the options?
Okay.
Typically, people start on that left platform, fight for the right bridge. Later, maybe you can swing left or right. Right bridge is actually even better, but just expect.
Yeah, I like the right bridge from like when I go like this side right here.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the best spots, but typically expect a lot of frontline pressure here too. Yeah, exactly. Their tank might roll out here, and the rest of their cast and everyone, maybe even Junkrat. You see, the sideline is short. You gotta be moving it along somewhere. I don't like this because you only able to poke the ball, and you want to poke the backline, right? So move left. Okay. Yeah, this is better slightly. Well, it just seems a little bit. This can work. Okay. Yeah, I like it more. Okay, great. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
On the longer sideline. It's just, you gotta be dynamic. Obviously, we're saying, we're kind of trying to fight for the angles, but I only want you to fight for the angle where it's in your favor. That's it. We fighting...
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes so instead of because what I'll do is sometimes like see like this like where like the cast will push me or this guy will push me. Sometimes I'll just like pull away a little too fast from it.
Yeah.
And not recontest it.
So see, this sideline is short, and you don't have your E. So what is the move? You need long sideline now. Yes?
Yeah,
longer sideline. Okay. That's
I think
alright.
I heard him too, but I didn't know if he was on the bottom or where.
That's okay.
If I'm still standing, I'm still fighting.
One more fight. Take one more fight, you farm the ultimate. Also notice, the cast is marking left side, and maybe you can actually take the bridge now. Just check that out. You just want to fight for the angles to show in your favor. All times. Cast is dead, by the way. You gotta crash at the back. Yes. Okay, tire. If you can... Oh. Wait, what? You can even solo ult more if she used shift. Did you know that? If she used one,
Yeah, but I
she
think I
did.
get rolled here.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay. You see, this
yes,
is this is exactly kind of those ultimates sometimes allow you to ignore the positioning. Okay, if you're stuck in the short range sideline, I think you can pop the ultimate there to just get a kill. But if you're able to just rotate to the long sideline, I think again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and we have long sight on the cast. Perfect. And from here, decide where do you go? Need to use your ultimate somehow. Everybody's using so many, but you guys should be winning. You still can be winning. Yes. Just keep up the pressure, long sight line and good. Shout mines on the left, don't drop. And this guy's really low. Okay, good. It's gonna be easier for you to just contest the point. It's harder for them to retake. You have Torp. And the ball, yeah, not sure you gotta chase them too much, but yes. Make sure you see the backline first. You need to put up the pressure as early as possible, otherwise they're walking you. Yeah, they're already walking. You need the pressure. Yeah, this is better. Just need to keep the pressure up. That's okay. That's okay. You could have survived there, but that's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so see, it's just consistently doing this. Maybe we can even go over that game a little bit, just talk about a few things. But yeah, do you also have a game where you think you try to best to implement our previous concepts as well? What's your thoughts?
I think so. Here, let me see.
Yeah. We can also look at the another one too. This one, another one, should be okay.
Oops. What was this one? It was that one, and then it was uh oh yeah, that one. This one. Let me see. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this one.
Okay. Here. And then let me send it to you here. This one.
I had gone like on like a 4-game win streak when I was doing that.
I sent you the replay code on the.
Yeah, I see on the Discord. Yeah, I will.
I went on
screen
the.
share.
I did a 4-game win streak when I was doing that, and then what's it called? And then I was trying to figure out. I think I was like maybe overthinking the situation too. Because then after a while I started to kind of question a little bit too much on what I was doing.
Yeah, that's understandable. To be honest, to just be able to avoid that, what do you think? To not overthink, how could you go about that? What should you do?
Sometimes like I just like try to do like because sometimes I'm like, all right, should I get out? Should I not get out? Sometimes I'm like, all right, I feel like I should get out, and I'll just get out and I'll play my life instead. And it kind of ends up working out. But then sometimes I notice when I do that too much, it almost seems like I'm never in some of the fights.
Yes, and we exactly talked about that. Yeah, just fight for the angles more. Okay, maybe you can also try out, instead of overthinking, just focus on one of the bullet points we talked about. Everything is in our summary too. You can take advantage of that, maybe even take your own notes. I usually suggest that you go over my notes, but then you make your own notes what you're gonna be focusing on in the game. So you have the key points, you have those trigger points, which allow you to understand what you're doing at the angle based on those points. So for example, we was the simple stuff. Let's maintain the range and let's have the E to fight. Yeah, we need to fight for the angle which is in our favor. In our favor based on what? Maybe E and long range. Okay, a lot of times we saw in the previous game, for example, we've been not taking the fights which in our favor, right? And you can just look at that. Maybe solve that and make sure it's more natural for you, where you actually recognizing that the angle is good, it's constantly long range, you constantly have E, and then you can take the fight. If you don't have those, then you just can play more patient, regain those, but later on you can re-challenge from the favorable angle again. Yeah, that's why we can retake, maybe go on somewhere else, somewhere else potentially, and should be all right. But yeah, one step at a time, because there are multiple triggers which allow you to make the decision. It can be team compositions, it can be HP, it can be how you use cover. Yeah, all of those concepts we went before. Right, but just stick to one idea and make sure it's more natural to you when you're working on it in the game. That's why in the previous game, I kind of mainly focused on do you have the good sightline? Yeah, do you have the long range? Yeah, was mainly it. So this is how I usually go about that. But yeah, you felt like, do you feel like you've been able to implement the stuff we talked about previous time actively? That does it feel like more natural to you?
So yes, it does, and then I think more right now because I was just trying to see like what your input was gonna be, and then I would just kind of like because I was like, okay, I should use the E for this fight right here where the cast ended up killing me, and I was like, okay, I should use the E here, and then I was just kind of like waiting for your input, so I didn't use it, and then obviously that
No,
like
I
lost us.
will not, I will not
Yeah.
direct you.
Yeah,
I
so
want to watch
that's
you.
my bad. Yeah, that's my bad, you know. So then I was like, okay, I should have just used it, and then I was
Yes.
like, because then that would have played out way differently. Yeah, that could have been like a game-changing fight then and there.
Yeah.
Because like their best player, the cast was like out of the fight, and then I should have just used the E because he would have had to cover more distance to kill me there. Everything like was in my favor. I just didn't press E, you know. And that's on me, you know.
Because yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that it's kind of, you see maybe in a lot of live sessions, like how other people do that, especially maybe streamers, they just kind of direct you, tell this and this. Sometimes I can maybe give you that as well when it's really live dependent, but sometimes, a lot of times it's not the best thing. It's kind of, when I teach you how to catch the fish, right? I could be maybe handling all the fishing stuff by myself and then exactly sewing the what's it called, the stuff to catch the fish, right? And you potentially, ideally I want you to be able to do that, right? So I'm just gonna give you the idea. Okay, make sure you have the long sightline, and then it's all up to you. How do you do that? Yeah, how do you implement it? Because it's always not ideal if I direct you, oh, this is exactly where you should play. No, I want you to be flexible, try the things for yourself, but you want to just be able to implement the tool. Later, you just figure out how to use it by yourself in the best possible way, because, yeah, it's your long-term goal. Just make sure you're able to catch the fish by yourself, basically. Because, yeah, me as a player, and there's always kind of, when you watch from the player's perspective, you kind of know, oh, okay, I would have stayed there, I would have done this, but it's not usable for a lot of times because I'm telling my perspective, where in reality there might be dozens of other solutions, and that's why when you see someone coaching, like top 1 rank guy coaching somebody, yeah, it's like more biased, and they trying to make the player think like they do, but you don't have to. You don't have to think like them, right? You don't have to think like them. You have to think for yourself and just apply the fundamental tools, though, and then you're good. That's why, even watching the France clip before in our session, we talked a lot about that, just what he is doing, but you can't be implementing the tools. Yeah, it's not like we're copying the pro or someone. We just see the tool. Okay, what is the tool? 180 angle, able to handle the long range, for example. Okay, then you're just gonna implement it in your game. Yeah, you're not gonna be taking exact those positions because all of the positioning is dynamic, decisions also dynamic, depends on situation, but the tools are always there. So it's just all up to you, right? Could you actually send me the previous game too? I want to. Because it was fresh, yeah. I want to talk about a few points too. But yeah, once you send this to me, what do you feel like are the biggest struggles when you've been implementing all that stuff? Well, I get it. You mentioned that sometimes you have to pay attention to your life. Yeah, that's understandable. But are there any other difficulties so far?
Yeah. So like for like when sometimes like I'll be like trying to reposition in a fight, and then it seems like the engagement happens as soon as I leave. Um, it seems like I end up like missing out on the fight, and sometimes we'll lose that fight
Yeah,
because I'm also not part of it. And then it seems like the timing on that is a little off, like me taking off. So sometimes I'm wondering if maybe I'm engaging too soon before the tank does, or I don't know if I should wait for the tank to engage so I can engage and disengage, or if I should just continue doing what I was doing. You know?
Yeah, well, you should be doing what you're doing, but engage with your tank too.
Okay.
Ideally, right? So
Okay.
those are the big things for us. Okay, so I'm thinking, yeah, how we could put it. Well, the timing can be another thing to make sure you survive from the angle, but I just want to start with the simple stuff. Long sightline, and how do you actually stay alive in the angle? Because you want to fight with the angle which is in your favor. Okay, fight. Yeah, I'm gonna put it this way in the summary too. Now, when you took this position, what do you think? What was your thought process, by the way, when you got on the left side? Why the left? Why not anywhere else?
So I like to take this left side because the high ground is like immediately right there, and it looks at the point. The only problem with that is it's like it like if I'm standing here, like there's not much room for me to wiggle around. It's just I'm there,
All right,
so it's
right,
kind of difficult to like really maneuver it.
right.
And because of, like I can see like if they're fighting and they try to go around this corner on this like behind this arc right here in the front, if they try to go to the
Yes.
other side, I can usually shoot like a rocket like on either corner of that arc, and I'll usually finish in the elim there. And it's easier because everybody just kind of fights like facing forward, so it's almost like I
Yeah.
get like free shots like
Yeah.
nonstop.
And this is decent position if the enemy is positioned this way usually, right? You saw that when they kind of lean towards this side, you have that long sideline. But in general, what do you feel like is gonna be better side? This here or this here for more continuous damage? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely this side. When I came here and then like I was like taking the fight like that, that whole range was way better than this one.
Right,
You know, I
exactly.
think
Mhm.
and I think maybe I take this one because it feels a little safer because it's a little more like I'm not gonna take as much damage, but
Well, but what
I'm
taking
also
damage
like
depends
boxed
on.
in, you know. Yeah, but then I get like boxed in, you know. So like they had a Junkrat and a cast, so like regardless, like if they were to like just run in there, the for my escape route there was in like from what I was like thinking, I was like it's not much, you know. It's like I have to go either jump straight down or take the stairs out, but it's all very linear, right? Like it's just like one way in, one way out kind of deal, and it seems like it's a little more risky of a position if they have a junk and a cast. They can kind of just like rest in there,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Exactly, because those are
yeah,
short range characters. And we don't
yeah,
like challenging the short range characters. Well, in reality, even when somebody enters here, like we saw the cast, maybe the short periods of time where this is in close to him, or maybe even this can be in close, but you kind of in general able to maintain the distance. So this is good general position, but again, because it can be dynamic with your positioning, generally speaking, we choose in the long sideline. I want you to choose the best sideline possible, especially when you don't know their comp. That is a good start, right? But then later, maybe if you recognize all the angles are here, let's say Cassidy is challenging you here, Kiriko is here, and Junkrat's here as well. What should you be your response? Because this angle is not in your favor anymore. You suddenly notice, oh, if I shoot those guys, I have short sightline. Yeah, like those guys are inside the room now. So what is your solution to this? Should be.
I, I would probably just rotate out. If they're already taking this position, I would probably just rotate a little bit more to the left here.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, just kind of like I think when we were talking last time, we were talking about like okay, we'll give up that space and then we'll take the space here and then fight here because to maintain my spacing with soldier, which benefits me, and then I would just kind of like recontest and then see if we get a pick or whatever, or they start getting distracted because they have to shoot other characters.
Yes, yes,
I can
yes.
and I can recontest that fight again with
Yes.
an advantage.
Exactly. Ideally, it's kind of will be that you start contesting them, right? Because there will be distance. Let's say they're rotating. This entire time you could be shooting them, right? So you keep contesting. Yeah. The problem before is that we saw the threat and we just ran away instantly, right? Where we here will be contesting, but only until the point where it's in your favor. What allows you to know what it's in your favor is if, for example, you have abilities or not, if it's enough range, let's put it this way too, I think. Yeah, because it's a really short sideline. I think you want to be more careful. But why? Yeah, because you also have capability to take another one, and you're pretty mobile, so it's okay if you can recontest. So see, like, this is in general good position. Later on, you can also do this like you did, and you actually got value out of this too. Yeah, it's just even though you choose this one, if you recognize, oh, short range sweats are pushing me, and maybe there's a range, and I also don't have too many resources, right? So you have to think, how do you deal with them? See, like now, this is good. You challenge them. You have the range, right? But then later on, the only thing to consider is making sure it's still in your favor, right? So it seems like we've done some damage towards them. You still have the resources, and now kind of taking the fight. So probably, not sure, there are a few things you can do. Well, first off, the Helix is an important one. I think this alone can win you the fight, and be more mindful about your E later on. Yeah, so your E allows you to be aggressive and just finish this guy with your Helix socket, even here, right? And this is gonna be the same thing here. It's just you always trying to take what's in your favor. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. Which is in your favor, and it's gonna be based on. Okay, I'm gonna put a note of what is. Yeah, let's say what is in your favor can be based on. Yeah, let's just say can be based on your E and range. Okay, so if you have that, I think you can re-challenge. But then later you will have the exact example where it's opposite. You didn't have the potential to challenge. There was no range and no E whatsoever. I think later, like here, you still have an advantage, even though it's the left side. It's okay. I would still prefer the right side. Probably it's still pretty empty there. It seems that it's more longer range space. Yeah, but later on you will see. I think it's gonna be around. Maybe even here actually. So yeah, those guys are challenging me. Okay, I want to consider what is that long distance I take. Okay, so kind of run away, but then you're trying to challenge them. Maybe you can even swing on the left if you like, because this is the back line. You want to shoot them, but then let's see how we die there. I think you're gonna use your E here. Maybe not yet. Yeah, they're using the ultimate. This is exactly what it is. Yeah, you don't have the E, and now you also don't have the range. So I want you to fight this way, so we add the advantage. Yeah, the long sideline constantly. Now, what is the right solution you could be doing right after you kill that Moira? What do you think? Instead of just going after the cast without E at the short range, what is the better thing?
Swing right.
Yeah, probably just straight in right, and you still can shoot them too. To be honest, you can maybe even just position this way, just open up this way if they ever gonna get. Well, just try to push you. Maybe open up this way too. But later on, you can also push this here. It just might seem a little bit awkward because it will be in the main. But yeah, if you have time, you can also retake the right side. It's just the fight is really active. There are ultimates being used. So yeah, I think you cannot be away from the fight. Just make sure you keep challenging at your favorable range and with your abilities. This is what I mean. Constantly. Yeah, what's in our favor? I think the second fight was better. It was just one time where second point was better because it was more short range cast. I think overall it's pretty decent. Just one time we kind of rotated a little bit too far. It's not like we kind of flank. It's your rotation should be different. You should have shorter range sidelines. So instead of going here, we can maybe be going here, and you still exist on the angle. You're not exactly on the main lane, it's kind of still left, but later you can re-challenge that if it's in your favor. How do you understand it? Again, range, cooldowns. Do you have your E? Is a good range? I think it's fine, yeah? So again, before, you would just maybe give up the angle completely, which was not ideal. I was telling you, yeah, it's not good. If it's in your favor, take it. Yeah, just keep fighting. Yeah. Now you actually rotate, which is good, but just different direction we should be taking. thinking, and later you challenge.
yeah.
Yeah. I think later on it went okay. You choose the right sides and everything. The third point was concerning a lot of times because of the range now. Now, see, this is exactly like what I mean. You're fighting this ball, you have the E, but you don't have the range. So,
Yeah.
right away, you can be thinking, what is that long sideline I could be taking? So I still challenge the enemy because you can choose, right? It's not like keep fighting that ball forever, which is actually non-killable a lot of times too at the start of the fight, right? And more
Yeah.
favorable targets to choose. What is that long range sidelines you could be taking? You think if you see that, which allows you to actually shoot the enemy here. Where should you go right away?
Swing left
Swing left.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe start
Yeah.
here, go here, like the way you did. This is really good side, and even though it just feels that, well, I'm a little bit was my team at the start, but yeah, later on you just go left side, and this here, when this is also okay, just a little bit awkward when you're at the bottom, you cannot see that much, that's why maybe you can start here, but then later you can even, I don't know, use this one, depending on where the enemy goes. Let's say they push here, just on sideline, and your E allows you to be active as well, I think. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of that, to be honest. Now, there are some cheeky ways, obviously, even though you're not taking the fights in your favor sometimes, and I will show you this example. But so this so far, this I want to do a long range and making sure you have the E to fight the angle. Is it clear enough?
No, not at all.
And
Like from
no-
this perspective.
No, I mean, wait, not at all. You mean not clear? Like overall, just the concept I explained so far. Yeah.
No, oh yeah, the concept. Yeah, I thought you meant like from that angle.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, no, definitely yes, because so like when we I think the last was the last map, the one that where I was on that beach side.
Yeah.
Like when I was looking at them, like I was just getting like free shots, right? Like I was like all the way on the far right side or far left side on the beat, on almost like not behind him necessarily, but like almost like just like lateral to their like vision. So it was more like I was just like free shots, and I think that's why like I was able to catch the
Yeah.
Cassidy and finish them. And then like from like even like this fight, like I think this fight should have been 1-2. I think I just kind of like choked the last shot. And
Mechanics, yeah, you need to use a Helix as a finisher. So we pay attention to the mechanics. Yeah, just like maybe have another bullet point. Again, mechanics can allow you to understand, have advantage or disadvantage in the fight. Yeah, you have good mechanics. Well, this is good. First landing Helix. Okay, this is just Helix as a finisher. Okay, let's put it this way. Why it's also useful, because Helix is projectile, so even though they try to hide around the corner, then it's good follow-up, and you also, this way, you're removing the capability for them to heal up by anything, because it's more burst, kind of. If you use Helix first, there is a lot of burst right away, and then they might get healed, and then later don't have that. That's why Helix as a finisher is usually better. You don't want to open up mid-fight, or like at the start. Well, if it's cheap damage at the start, yeah, but if you take in the duel like this, yeah, see, kind of just use that a little bit too early. Yeah, you just need that patience here. You know that this fight is in your favor now. Okay, don't rush it. You just make sure, yeah, you're good. But now, after this happened, okay, you don't have the Helix socket. You realized you use this, and you that have HP. Now, this is in this guy's favor. Okay?
yeah,
And it's another thing you can be doing. Another idea is, what are you implementing with your movement? Okay, the simple idea, I don't want to overcomplicate this. The simple idea is, imagine it like the scale. On the one side of the scale, you have general strafes. Strafing is generally going to be a good idea. Sometimes you can be actually standing still, even though you're trying to strafe. Yeah, it's just the moments when maybe the enemies cannot see you, so you're not making it harder for you to aim. Even, yeah, there's nothing to strafe, so you okay when standing still. But the more the enemies put pressure on you, the more movement you gotta be doing, and there's you moving more towards this other side of the scale, dodging. Okay. And what dodging does is just you gotta move in different ways and make it more chaotic. It's not like you cannot shoot, but the movement should be your priority in a way. So my question is, when you're this disadvantage, what can you do with your movement so you can win that duel potentially? There's a high chance of winning that duel. What do you think?
I would have gone back to the left and like peak shot from that corner while letting that heal station kind of pick
Yeah.
me back up a little bit.
Yeah, this is one. Yeah, cover. Cover is another one. Yeah, peak shoot is another one. And there's also some more chaotic stuff you can do with the soldier. You want to take advantage of your shift a little bit more. I want to show you one thing. Well, because we used the Defran a lot for this, it's going to be a good example. Okay, let's find soldier folder and... Yeah, where is that? Okay, soldier, and then some examples. Defran. Maintaining angles, yes. Healing station, this is not one. Dodging, okay, this is what we need. I just want to show you this clip. Okay. It's gonna be a good example. Priorities. Are we strafing? Yeah, maybe sometimes you can stand still or dodging. Yeah, the same ideas. Okay, let's just look at that. They roll out at the start. Okay, this is Junkertown, different map, but the ideas are universal. So at the start, they're kind of not doing a lot of movement. You see them? They actually kind of almost standing still. Maybe they have to do strafe and left, right, just a little bit to shoot that diva. Because there's no pressure, I can strafe. Okay, just normal strafes, or maybe even stand still. Okay, but when there's a lot of pressure, you gotta be dodging. Okay, see what they're gonna do later. So they stand. You see those moments where they stand still as well? No pressure, right? I stand still.
Yeah.
Okay. After they gotta move. This Genji does something. Okay, I run. Shift. You use your shift. Okay. And after that, he recognizes that, well, this guy's targeting me. I can also pop the ultimate there. He's patient not shooting because there's a deflag. But then later, because ultimate kind of allows you to just put a lot of pressure. To be honest, you can sometimes even ignore some of the positional stuff. I think I briefly mentioned that in our live session. Well, the one just the game before. Yeah, you can just take the fight. Even remember that Moira chasing you. Well, just ult the Moira. It's okay. Maybe you can ignore some of the positional stuff too. The ultimate's making the fight in your favor. What allows you to cheat your way through sometimes. Okay, but even here, he just pushes this guy away, and then see what happens. He's gonna position here and kill this guy, and then there's a lot of pressure on him. So what he's gonna be doing? He's gonna be dodging now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
gonna, I want you to see that real quick. What he's gonna do.
I see. Yeah.
Watch the movement now. So they not...
Yeah, he's like dodging on the hill in the heal station. Yeah.
Left, right. Why it works? Because there's spikes of pressure. If you recognize you're doing your own spike of pressure, then you're kind of more safe. You're doing more damage output. Strafing is kind of higher damage output, low movement. Yeah, damage high, and yeah, I'll just say high and movement low. And here, on dodging, damage is low because you cannot shoot when you're strafing like that. Well, you can, but it's just harder. He's still shooting because he has the ultimate, right? But damage is going to be low. It's not as accurate typically, especially when you don't have it. Like in your case with the Cassidy, you don't have your ultimate, but damage will be low if you're trying to dodge, okay? But the movement is high, okay? So this is where you go left, right, a little bit more. Just try to throw off the crosshair off until you get advantage, which is in your favor because of the healing station, and you're good. Well, cover is another thing too, but this is a big thing on the soldier. You just gotta be recognizing. Yep. A strafe or dodge. And I'm just gonna put in the bracket strafe. It's high damage, low movement. Okay. So that makes sense. And dodging is gonna be low damage, high movement, because a lot of people, they can explain this in different ways. Yeah, the mechanics, the movement, there's a lot of stuff you can do, but there's a simple understanding of just any situation. A lot of pressure on you, and you cannot do your own pressure because you use your resources. Well, do dodging. If you can do a lot of pressure and they cannot, then you just do normal strafing and you just do a lot of damage. Okay, yeah, does this idea make sense?
Yeah, because then this way, like I might even like when I'm like kind of just strafing and dodging, like even if I like maybe spam the crouch button also, I think it also make it even like more hectic for their visual, right? Because I'm not like like because like maybe I may be shooting, not be shooting, but it can make it that much hectic for them too. So yeah. I mean, everything like you tell me makes sense. I think a lot of the times it's like hard for me to like implement them a little more smoothly, right? I think about it and then I do it, and then like even like when I was like playing, when we were talking about like really going deep with Soldier, there was let me see if I could find the not the replay of it, but the name Runasapi. You know how that map is like super long, right?
Yeah.
And I would go take the left side where like that little tunnel is, and then the Mega's there. Then you could go up the stairs almost like into their spawn. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because like there was this guy that I played, like he was a DPS also, and he was like against me like 3 games in a row, and then he ended up in one of my teams like on the 4th one. And I don't have like the voice comms on. I was just like kind of just focusing on what we were talking about, and then like he sent it on the text chat, and he was like, hey, how do you not get punished for your play style? And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I just keep going deeper, and that's all I left it at. And then he like sent me a friend request, and he's like, hey, you think I could get like the like, you know? And I told him, I was like honestly, dude, I was like, I have a guy that's coaching me, and he's kind of like giving me an explanation on what to do, and I sent him your info, so hopefully he you know, he maybe he hits you up or something.
Oh, that's
And
good advertisement. Yeah.
yeah, you know, so I was like, I might as well give a referral if it's there, you know, if he was like that interested, you know. So I was like, yeah, I'll give the referral, why not, you know. And but yeah, but even he was like, because he like lost to me like back to back to back, and then I'm sure like he's just like, I guess like he like ended up like on my team, and then he told me that. And then there was another game, and I you know, I'm not very like I'm not really full of like reactions when I speak. I just kind of like very, you know, monotone. There was another guy that I was playing, and I had beat him, like not necessarily him, like I wasn't targeting him as a person to beat. I was just kind of doing what we were doing, and it was like 3 games in a row that I beat him, and then we were on the 4th one, and he put it on the text chat because I think he avoided me or something because he was always against me, right? And I was like, like dude, like I can't even get this guy on my team. I'm assuming he avoided me, and then
Maybe.
like I play, yeah, and then like we played the 4th one after, like, you know, I beat him 3 times, and then we're on the 4th one, and he puts on the text chat, he's like, dude, if I lose this one, I'm just gonna get off the game. And I didn't respond because I didn't know who he was talking to, right? And then we end up winning the 4th game, and he's like, all right, I'm done for today. This guy Steak and Fries is just like shitting on me all game. Nobody bothers to chase him. He's just running around the map. Like, he's going on this big rant. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to my little brother because my little brother plays Overwatch. And even my little brother was like, what are you talking about? And I was telling him about you. And I was like, it's crazy. I was like, we're just like going over like basic concepts, and I was like, I'm just trying to like implement them, and I was like, it'll take some time. I told him, I was like, I'm assuming it's like muscle memory till it becomes like, you know, like I'm not doing it consciously. It's more like a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
And even my little brother was like, dude, he's like, that's pretty cool. And then my little brother started doing it because he plays a lot of Destiny, and he's like, dude, I can't believe that stuff works. And I was like, dude, me either. I was like, I think sometimes everybody tries to focus too much on aim, and I was like, I don't sure it helps. I was like, yes, it helps, but sometimes you don't need to have good aim. You just have to have better positioning to make sure that you can like that fight is gonna work out in your favor, even if you miss a couple shots. And I told him the aim is only like really. I was like, I'm sure. I told him, I was like, I'm sure it helps like at a professional level, or like where these guys are like, I was like, I'm sure they're like drilling like flick shots and all these things that, you know, make it the gameplay look nice.
They're not at this level. They're just more macro stuff, and yeah, to be honest, a lot of pro players, they're exactly, especially if no one has received coaching before, they're exactly that. They like Pay attention to a lot of tiny details. Sometimes it's the usual thing too. Well, let's say they do pay attention to the small stuff. It's just also gonna be not as important, to be honest, compared to the positioning decisions you can do a lot of times. Still, it just takes so many tiny details to also fix that. Yeah, like even this here, what we talked about is, well, it's some mechanical stuff too, right? It's just so straight versus dodging. Okay, Alex to finish kills. Well, it's mechanics, but most of it is decisions and your position. That's why we talk. Well, what angle you're taking, which is in your favor. Yeah, start with that. Decisions part we didn't talk about today, but yeah, maybe we'll later. It's okay. But yeah, decisions, positioning, effective practice, how you practice eats the parts of good mechanics. Let's put it this way. I just view the game this way, that you can watch the game through the lens of anything, but when you watch that, there's still important fundamentals to go through, and you gotta be fixing those first. If I'm teaching mechanics at the start, I'm not going over the mechanics purely. I usually will start with the position and the decisions, and turns out we're right. Maybe if you watch some of the sessions, I think there was a session back in the days on Zenyatta, they've been telling me I cannot hit all the shots, okay? Just quick. Oh, by the way, I think it's gonna be not the front example, because they've been doing bunch of those unranked to GMs, but yeah, they basically been playing Zenyatta. They showed them example where, okay, imagine if you position this way, where you take one more 90 angle, that makes it easy for you to land the shots, right? So this way you can partially fixing your mechanics too. Okay, I will show you a quick example. That is something that you can also implement on any character. And yeah, so this here, give me a sec. Yeah, it's on my main YouTube. There are two channels. The one I post the sessions, and this one is just for more edited. Yeah, there was this. Okay, I think there was gonna be example of the front. Yeah, they're gonna be taking 90 angle here with the Zenyatta. They kind of start on the main, yes, but then they will rotate later. And see, what they're going to be doing is, because the position of this 90 angle now, that makes it easier for them to aim as well. It's similar to the stuff I talked about on the soldier. Yeah? Even in Zenyatta, they're doing a lot of those positional concepts. It's just as then you cannot be flanking. See this Moira? How much easier it is to just aim at the Moira compared to you being on the main now, right? And it's just exactly the thought process a lot of times. Yeah, those positions. So like here, imagine if I'm not in this backline, the one I marked, but somewhere A, it's so much easier for me to fight those people. So yeah, and a lot of the stuff. You're right, positioning decisions. Yeah, anything else you wanted to say as well, or?
No, yeah. So like with like this, right? Like, like the positioning stuff, and like it making it like easier to like get the eliminations. And then like, cause I was trying to like, cause like I don't know how me and my brother ended up on the conversation. And I told him, I was like, cause like I was like, I know like my aim isn't too bad, and I was like, but it doesn't like I was like something isn't clicking for me, because I'm like, I told him, I was like, I'm kind of like stuck on this like diamond 3 diamond 2 spot. I told him, and I was like, and I'm not too sure why. And then like as we started like to implement this, and I was like, okay, I could like see where like the growth is gonna come from,
Yeah.
like long term. Like, you know, like that's why right now, like I don't really care if I win or lose like the matches, because now I know like, okay, like this is the goal I have to get to. I have to like implement this to make sure that the progression is there long term, not necessarily like, oh, like I'm getting coaching, I should be like already ranking up. It's like, no, the idea is there, like the plan is to implement it into my daily gameplay, to better my gameplay, to rank up a little bit better, because the game isn't, I'm not ranking up because obviously I'm missing something, right? It's not that, the aim is there. It's not that like you know the matches are won. It's more there's something holding me back from making that transition from here to the next rank, and I can see why now, because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, and now like I understand it a little bit better, and I'm, you know, I watch like this guy. Who else? I was watching him, and then here I have YouTube. I have it on my history.
No, it's okay.
And
Yeah,
then
there are a lot of good players too. Yeah.
I ended up watching this guy named Melio on there too,
Melo is
and
good. Yes, he's good. You
and I just noticed like they don't like take that much damage when they're taking these fights. Like they're like taking very minimal damage, and then like if they do get like on a like 1-on-1, it's more like you said, like a resource based like 1-on-1, right? Like they have like a recall, they have like an extra blink that the other guy may not have, or the guy maybe used his recall too early, so he can fight a little more, put a little more damage, and then recall, and then have like the health advantage, the recall advantage, and all this stuff, and they end up winning. And I was like, oh, I can see where I'm not really winning some of these is because either I'm too late or I'm too early, and I have to find my timing a little bit better, and my decision making has to be a little bit better. But that comes with practice, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it is exactly the practice, making sure that you're able to make it more of a second nature. Exactly. So yeah, you're right. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you wanna try to do a game on some of this? Well, we talked about this. Let's just say we're fighting for the angle. Yeah, like maintaining the angles which is in your favor based on the in range. Maybe we can try this out, or do you wanna do anything else? What do you think?
No, I think. Well, I have to go and go pick up my cap and gown, and I have to be there at 11. So I don't know if
Oh.
you mind if we end the session a little early, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we can definitely also meet later. That's all good. And maybe if you're gonna have any questions, you can just send those my way, and should be all right. Maybe it's timestamps
Yeah.
as well. I really want you to
Okay.
quickly also keep in mind the concepts you're going to be practicing step by step, one concept, so you don't overwhelm yourself. Pick one bullet point and make sure it's more natural, and make sure you maybe save the games where you try the best to implement those, but it felt problematic for some reason. Yeah, it's just maybe we can go over that one, and then there are a lot of other themes we can discuss too later on. Does that sounds good?
Yeah, and then